Overview of perfect competition. A market is competitive if each buyer and seller is small compared to the size of the market and therefore has little ability to influence market prices. By contrast, if a firm can influence the market price of the good it sells, it is said to have market power. Perfect competition is characterized by four important features: large number of buyers and sellers. The suppliers of competitive market are price takers. They have no influence whatsoever on the market price because each supplier is only a tiny share of the total market. Example: market for farm commodities, the stock market, and the foreign exchange market. Standardized product. Purely competitive firms produce a standardized, identical, or homogeneous products. Products are perfect substitutes, and buyers will be indifferent from which seller to buy the product. Firms can freely enter and exit the market. Since startup cost is low, firms freely enter and exit the market. As a result, firms make economic profit only in the short run. Perfect knowledge of the market. Consumers have complete knowledge about the price of the product. As a result, businesses are reluctant to raise prices ahead of a competitor. Furthermore, consumers are also aware of the quality of the product. If the product is inferior, they will switch to competitors, putting the original firm out of business. Demand curve for a firm in a perfectly competitive market. In perfect competition, once the market price has been determined by market supply and demand forces, individual firms become price takers because each supplier has only a tiny share of the total market. The demand curve D of a purely competitive firm is a horizontal line, perfectly elastic, because the firm can sell as much output as it wants at the market price and any quantity is demanded at a given price by the consumers. This makes both the average revenue, which is the per unit price of all the products sold, and the marginal revenue, the price of the last item sold, equal to the market price. That is, price equals demand equals MR is equal to AR. If some suppliers try to raise the price by even a few pennies, then consumers will simply buy from the other suppliers. On the other hand, there is no reason for any supplier to sell even a penny less than the market price, since they can sell all that they want for the market price. Marginal cost as a competitive firm's supply curve. The firm's supply curve in the short run is its marginal cost curve for prices greater than minimum average variable cost. At prices below AVC, the firm's output drops to zero. An increase in the price from P1 to P2 in the figure leads to an increase in the firm's profit maximizing quantity from Q1 to Q2. Because the marginal cost curve shows the quantity supplied by the firm at any given price, it is the firm's supply curve. Profit maximization output, MR is equal to MC. The slope of the total revenue curve is marginal revenue. The slope of the total cost curve is marginal cost. Economic profit, the difference between total revenue and total cost, is maximized where marginal revenue equals marginal cost. This is consistent with the marginal decision rule, which holds that a profit maximizing firm should increase output until the marginal benefit of an additional unit equals the marginal cost. The marginal benefit of selling an additional unit is measured as marginal revenue. In the figure, at market price $6, 60 units of profit maximizing output where MR is equal to MC. Any output below it is the foregone profit shown by the shaded area. At 10 units, firm's MC is $2.95, whereas price is $6. So firm can increase its output to earn profit. Anything beyond Qmax, MC is greater than MR, and shaded area above price line shows the lost profit due to overproduction. Short-run equilibrium under perfect competition. Normal profit, firms in equilibrium or at rest in perfect competition will make just normal profit or zero economic profit where P is equal to MC is equal to ATC. This level of profit is just enough to keep them in the industry. that is TC is equal to TR, and since profits are adequate, they have no incentive to leave. The perfectly competitive firm can generate profit or losses in the short run. Economic profit, which is calculated by price minus average total cost times quantity. Graphically, it is shaded rectangle, which is vertical distance between MR and ATC. Here, price is greater than ATC. Therefore, the firms make economic profit. Economic loss, where price is less than ATC. A firm with high cost may face a short-run loss-making situation. It is not at risk in the short run provided price at least covers its variable cost, that is its day-to-day running cost, so that a contribution is made towards the fixed cost. The price P covers variable cost and some fixed cost. A loss of C minus P is made. Shutdown case and loss minimizing case in the short run. The figure is in the price 1 is below the firm's minimum AVC. So at this price, the firms won't operate at all. Quantity supplied will be 0, as it will be at all other prices below P2. At price P2, the firm will supply Q2 units of output to minimize its short-run losses. Here P is equal to minimum AVC. This is the shutdown point. Firm is indifferent whether to open or close business. At price P3, the firm will supply Q3 units of output to minimize its short-run losses. Here firm incur loss equal to ATC. P3 price cover its AVC and also parts of TFC. Therefore, firms stay open at this market price. The firm will just break even at price P4. There it will supply Q4 units of output where MR4 is equal to MC. Earning a normal profit but not an economic profit, total revenue will just cover total cost. At price P5 or any price above P4, the firm will realize an economic profit by producing and supplying Q5 units of output. This is the graphical representation of just now I explained. So here you can see at point A, P is less than AVC. So the firm is incurring loss and it will shut down and will produce no output. The second point is B. At B point, P equals AVC, minimum AVC or average variable cost. The loss is equal to average total cost, and this is the shutdown point, and the firm is indifferent whether to shut down or open or keep it open or stay open. The third is point C, where the price is greater than AVC but less than ATC, that is in between ATC and AVC. This is the loss minimizing point. The loss is equals to ATC, but it will stay open because it is covering its average variable cost and a part of total cost or fixed cost. The fourth point is point D, where P is equal to ATC, where the price is just covering all its cost and the firm is making a normal profit or break-even point, also called zero economic profit. The last point is E, or any point above D is the firm making prices greater than ATC and the firm makes positive economic profit. Long run in pure competition. In the short run, when plant and equipment are fixed, the firm in a purely competitive industry may earn profits or suffer losses. In the long run, when plant and equipment are adjustable with free entry and exit, profits will attract new entrants while losses will cause existing firms to leave. 3 assumptions in the long run in pure competition: free entry and exit, identical cost, constant cost industry. Long run adjustments in pure competition. In the long run, firms will enter or exit the market until profits is driven to 0 As a result, price equals the minimum average total cost. The number of firms adjusts to ensure that all demand is satisfied at this price. With firms earning a normal profit, there will be no incentive to either enter or exit the industry. This situation constitutes long run equilibrium in a purely competitive industry. In the long run, P is equal to minimum ATC, firm make normal profit or zero economic profit. So all the three shows the adjustments. Now, so the first is the economic profit. When the firm make an economic profit in the short run, as a result, the demand increases. The price will also increase from P to P1, and the new equilibrium is formed. As a result of economic profit, new firms will enter the market. And finally, the supply will also increase. The supply curve shifts to right from S1 to S2, and prices will fall back where it was, and the firm starts earning normal profit in the long run. So again, if the firm is incurring loss in the short run, then you can see the demand curve shifts to left from D1 to D3. Price also decreases from P1 to P1, P to P1. The supply decreases, the supply curve shifts leftward from S1 to S3 because the firms will go out of business or exit the industry. And finally, the prices will again increase back where it was. So thus is the long run equilibrium is restored and return to normal or zero economic profit. Long run supply curves. The long run supply curve for constant cost industry, an industry in which expansion or contraction will not affect resource prices and therefore production costs. Graphically, it means that entry or exit of firms does not shift the long run ATC curves of individual firms. It occurs when the industry's demand for resources is small in relation to the total demand for those resources. The long run supply curve is horizontal for constant cost industries, thus representing perfectly elastic supply. Increasing cost industry. The long run supply curve slopes upward because entry of new firms in response to an increase in demand will bid up resource prices and therefore increase unit costs. This occurs because there are limited quantities of inputs in relation to the market demand for the product, so a greater quantity will only be supplied if the market price for the product is higher. Decreasing cost industry. The long run supply curve is downward sloping because the price of inputs declines with increasing quantity. This usually occurs when the input themselves are manufactured and benefits from economies of scale, where increased quantities decreases the average total cost of the inputs and therefore their prices. The best example of this type of industry is the computer industry, since the increase in demand for computers also increases the demand for components. You can see the supply curve, long run supply curve in all the three industries. It is horizontal in constant cost industries, and it is upward sloping for an increasing cost industries and downward sloping for a decreasing industry. Pure competition and efficiency. When profit maximizing firm in perfectly competitive markets combine with utility maximizing consumers, the resulting quantities of output of goods and services demonstrate both productive and allocative efficiency. These two conditions have important implications. First, resources are allocated to their best alternative use. Second, they provide the maximum satisfaction attainable by society. Productive efficiency. P is equal to ATC, mean productive efficiency occurs when production takes place at the output at which average total cost is a minimum. This is where the MC curve crosses the minimum ATC, that is MC is equal to ATC. The production of a good in the least costly way, or producing at a minimum cost, or producing without waste. In the long run, in a perfectly competitive market, because of the price of entry and exit, the price in the market is equal to the minimum of the long run average cost curve. In other words, goods are produced and sold at the lowest possible average cost. Allocative efficiency, P is equal to MC. Allocative efficiency means requires that resources are apportioned among firms and industries so as to yield the best combination of products and services most desired by society. The point that is chosen on PPF curve is one that is socially preferred. When perfectly competitive firms maximize their profits by producing the quantity where P is equal to MC, they also ensure that the benefits to consumers of what they are buying, as measured by the price they are willing to pay, is equal to the cost to society of producing the marginal units, as measured by the marginal cost the firm must pay. This allocative efficiency holds. After long run adjustments, pure computation produces both productive and allocative efficiency. It yields a level of output at which P is equal to MC is equal to lowest ATC, marginal benefit equals marginal cost, maximum willingness to pay for a last unit is equal to minimum acceptable price for the unit, and combined consumer and producer surplus are maximized. Thus, under pure competition between firms will keep their ATC as low as possible. Resources will not be wasted through advertising because products are homogeneous. Normal profits means consumers are getting the lowest price. This also leads to greater equality or equity in society.